Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's Mo again. Well, in this lecture, what we're going to be looking at is how can we actually restore Active Directory through the GUI. So watch this. Let me just look at a full screen here. So I'm going to go to Active Directory, users and computers, and I'm going to delete a specific organizational unit, right? Let's say we're going to delete HR. Now, if I try to delete it, right, it's protected against deletion. So I'm going to go View, Advanced Features, right-click HR, choose Properties, go to the Object tab, remove the check mark from the box, right? And now I should be able to delete the HR. So HR is actually gone. See that? No longer. So if I go back to Advanced Features, just go back to the basic view, I don't have the HR. Okay, so what do I do? Let me go to Server Manager, Tools, Windows Server Backup. Let me show you, it's going to fail. I just want to show you. Then we're going to be looking into is to recover Active Directory. Since I have a backup, right? Remember, I have it on the E drive and the F drive. It's actually the same. Both of them are the same. See, I have both backups finished. So I'm going to choose recover. And I'm going to say recover on this server. Next, I'm going to choose the one that I just created, right? It could be the F drive or it could be like the E drive. I'll choose the E drive. And next, and I want to choose system state, which is Active Directory, and go next. Original location, right? And go next. Look, I can't because Active Directory is running. So what I have to be is in a different mode called DSRM, Directory Services Recovery Mode. Do you remember during the installation of Active Directory, I actually had to put a password? Well, I have to know that password. But if I don't, let me reset it. Watch this. How do I reset the DSRM password? So I actually use the NTDS util. Remember, we use this for the FSMA roles. And let me ask for help and set DSRM password. So I'm going to type set DSRM password, enter. Then if I ask for help, it tells me, okay, so reset password on server W2019-1. Enter the password. So I'm going to put a new password. That's how I reset the DSRM pass. Remember, I have to be in Directory Services Restore mode to restore Active Directory. How do I get actually into that mode? So let me just close this out. I have to go to the command and type msconfig. See this? Microsoft configuration, then OK. Boot, I have to boot the system in Active Directory repair mode. Okay. Then I'm going to click OK. Then I'm going to click restart. Watch this right now. So right now I'm going to be offline of Active Directory. Think about it. Can you recover Active Directory or recover the database of Active Directory if you're logged into it? Of course not. I have to be offline of Active Directory. So watch this. This is like the repair mode of Active Directory. So if I'm actually doing this during production time, guess what? Nobody can log on to the domain. So you're offline of AD. This is like a classic way. Let me show you. Let's give it a few seconds until I reach the logon screen. And then after this, I'll show you how to do it through the command line too. So we backed up through the GUI, through the CLI, and I'm going to restore through the GUI and the CLI. So watch this. When I try to log on, it's not going to log on to the actual domain. I have to log on locally, /administrator, and put the password that I just set right now, which is the DSRM password. And if you forgot it, that's where you set it up from, NTDS util. And remember, that's the password that we create when we actually install and promote Active Directory on the server during the installation of AD. So look, it says safe mode. This is safe mode for Active Directory. The only time I get in here is when I want to maintain the database of Active Directory, such as restoring Active Directory. So if I go to Tools and I go to Windows Server Backup, there we go. All right, and let's take a look and see what it's going to show us. And local backup, and this time it should actually work. All right, let's just give it a few moments. Almost there. Okay. This is perfect. I'm going to choose recover. This server. Next. I'm going to choose the one I did first, which is the GUI. It doesn't matter which one here. Next. And I'm going to choose system state. Next. Original location. Next. Click OK. See, this time it goes through. I'm going to say automatically restart when it's actually done. I could say this, or I could say don't. At least, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and remove the check mark so I can show you that it worked. And yes, it cannot be canceled. Let's just make sure that it actually starts. So now it's actually doing the recovery process. Okay, so it looks good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually pause the video. And when this is actually done, we'll actually come back. All right. So we'll see you folks soon. Well, folks, welcome back. Well, check this out. The recovery actually finished. And look what it says. Press enter to continue. So this is actually good. That's a good sign. Just to show you, I'm still in safe mode. So I still have to go to msconfig. Watch this. Let me look at a full screen and go back to boot and make sure this is off. Then okay, and then restart. Let's see if that HROU is back. So we're gonna wait over here. It should not take long. And after this, I'm gonna show you how we could actually recover through the command line. So let's give it a moment. It only took probably around 15, 20 minutes. I mean, it all depends on the size of the database of Active Directory. That's another thing that you want to actually make sure you look into. So normally in a typical organization, it will probably take hours. It could. And guess what? I want to show you something new that Microsoft came up with, which is called the AD Recycle Bin. It's going to make your life much easier. All right. But first, I want to actually show you how to restore through the command line itself. And that's where we get to look at what is a purpose of raising a domain function level, the purpose of raising a forest function level, and all that. And we'll see that. So it should be coming up soon. There we go. So remember, for you to recover, we have to be in DSRM mode, which is Directory Services Repair mode, right? That's the mode that we actually have to be in. It's like you're being offline of Active Directory. And as I said, it's like Active Directory domain services is not running. So nobody can actually log on and do anything on the domain. So that's one thing you want to keep in mind. All the users will be disconnected from the network. That's why we have something new, which is called the AD recycle bin. And you'll see it's going to change your life in terms of recovering objects of Active Directory. So let's give this a few more moments. And once we log on, we just want to verify that that OU, including the users, the group, and the computer, is actually there. So let's see. Applying computer settings. Remember, I only have one domain controller right now. In other words, like one DNS server, all the FSMA roles are actually running on this server. This is a global catalog server, right? Everything is just on one DC, as you see. So let's give it a few seconds. Almost there, right? I mean, the thing is, it's pointing to itself, right? And that's why it's trying to start DNS service. That's what it's trying to do. At the same time, it's trying to process the actual logon itself. All right, let's see another full screen. Should coming up soon. Yeah. I remember when Active Directory was actually introduced in Windows 2000, it would take at least 10 to 15 minutes to be on the logon screen when it says applying settings. At least in this case, Windows Server 2019 or 2022 is actually quicker. That's why you always should have more than one domain controller, right? You can't just depend on one. Imagine if you just have one and it actually crashes. That's a lot of trouble. All right, come on. All right. I know. I mean, I could actually pause the video. I just wanted to show you that nothing is happening behind the scene in terms of once we actually restarted, I should see that actual OU. That's why I wanted just to stay here for a moment. So we could actually see it in action. That's as like we're actually in a live session. All right, it's going, it's going. Let's see. And the more RAM you give it, of course, you have more CPU processing. I mean, things can be quicker. But then you're going to say, well, will I actually face the same thing if I come down over here? Of course you will. Because you have to understand you only have one domain controller. And if you have one domain controller, it's going to take a while to process the logon. Remember when we had two and I restarted? It was so quick, not even 1 or 2 minutes. And I was actually at the logon screen, right? I was at the logon screen itself. But here, we only have one DC, so that's why it's just taking a while. Uh, And look, I could see all my storage, right? Remember we used already one hard drive, two hard drives. Well, what do I need the rest of the hard drive? Three is the default one too, so I have three more hard drives. I could actually move the database to a RAID 5. Remember the database is actually under the C drive? Well, guess what? I'm going to be moving the database. Remember during the installation, I could have specified that. I was like, why not wait until it's done so I could show you more command lines like ntdsutil to see how I could actually move the database of Active Directory to a RAID 5. I can move it to a RAID 1. I mean, I am looking for fault tolerance and I'm looking for performance, right? Instead of having it stuck just on one drive, imagine if something happens to that one drive, you actually lost everything about Active Directory. But no, versus put it this way, I'm going to be moving it to a RAID 5, right, that contains multiple hard drives. Or I could say a RAID 1. In case one hard drive fails, I have another drive up and running. So here, I also have some type of what? Fault tolerance, some type of redundancy, right? So that's another thing to look into when it comes up to the database of Active Directory. All right, let's give it a few more seconds and I should actually get it back online. There you go. You see that? Just at the moment. So let me just go ahead and log on and show you if we got that HROU or not. And we should. Let me just log on. And we'll be opening Active Directory users and computers. Tools, AD users and computers. Let's give it a moment. There we go. And look, I got the HR. I got the users, I got the group, I got the computer. Everything is there. This is perfect. Well, look what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to remove, let's say, the sales OU. So I'm going to do view, advanced features. Right click on the sales OU, right? Properties, object tab, remove the check mark from the box, right? And right click on sales and choose delete. I deleted everything that is actually under the sales OU, including the sales OU. So what I'm going to be doing next is to show you how I could actually recover Active Directory using the command line. So we'll see you guys soon. Okay, everybody. Bye.